Hi, it's Andy from Beyond Guitar, and welcome to the walkthrough of Be Quiet and Drive by the Deftones. And here we go. There are 3 different riffs in this song, and we're going to practice each one at a time. The first riff is this. Okay, and so how do you play that? Probably with finger 1 and finger 2. You could use finger 1 and finger 3 if you want to, but for this example, I'm going to play finger 1 and finger 2. Finger 1 goes on the 12th fret on the A string. Then you have the open D string ringing out. And then you have 13th fret on the G string. And I'm playing that with my middle finger. Okay, and then when you play those 3 notes together, you get a dissonant chord. It's like a major 7, sus4, but you don't have to know any of that stuff. Okay, listen carefully to the recording because I think sometimes he's playing the open B string and open E string, and those ring out. So especially in the middle of the song, you might hear him add in those extra open string notes. Okay, for now I'm just going to play the 3 notes that are on the tab. Okay, keep those fingers and just simply slide up 5 frets higher, and then you have the next chord. So you play each chord 4 times, like this. Okay, then you'll want to slide away on that very last chord. So make a sliding sound. Okay, now just before the band enters, you hear Stephen Carpenter move his hand around, and that's what we call string noise. When your hand is sliding along the strings and you get that scratchy noise, that's part of the song. And you hear that right before the band hits. And that's a cool little detail to try to master. So as soon as you play the last note of the intro, then do this. Like that. Okay, let's move on to the next part. When the band comes in, Stephen Carpenter is playing the low D string, open string. He's playing the 9th fret on the A string. And then that finger is just ever so slightly bumping the next string. And so that mutes out the next string. And so you don't have any ringing there. It's just a dead string. Then you'll play 3rd finger on the 11th fret on the G string. And when you strum all those 4 strings at the same time, you actually only get 3 notes because one of them's a dead string. So you have this note, and this note, and a dead string, and then this note. Okay, and as he strums it, he lets all the notes ring out. Okay, then let's move on to the 2nd chord. It's a bar chord, and you're going to press down the 9th fret on 2 strings at the same time. So flatten your finger out and press 2 strings at once. Then you'll play the 11th fret like this, and there's your chord. Now I think it's actually the bass player that's moving back and forth between 10 and 9. I think the bass player is playing that note, but you can play it on guitar too, and it sounds pretty cool. You just simply put your middle finger on the 10th fret and then take it away. Like that. Okay, so the verse riff sounds like this. He's going to repeat that over and over, and then eventually he throws in a variation. Okay, this is an octave, and he's sliding it around from the 9th fret to the 10th fret, and then sliding from 10 to 12. Then you work your way back to 10 and 9. Now let's get into the chorus of the song, which are the same chords. However, he's playing it in a special way. He plays the 9 and 11 octave with a bend. So pull the strings toward the floor. And then what you do next is you actually let go of those two notes, but leave your fingers on the strings. So that mutes the notes. Then you can palm mute the low D. And so the high notes stop, then you play them again, let them go, chug that low D, and bend again. So every time that he's playing the 9 and the 11, he's letting it go. And that puts a space in between each one. Let's move on to the chorus. Now in this tab, he adds an extra note. Okay, so you have 12, and then surprise, there's 14, which is the note that wasn't there before in the intro. And then of course 13, and you play all those notes at the same time. This time I'm pretty sure he includes the open B and the open E. And then just simply slide those fingers up. And that's the chorus. Then finally, the last riff to learn is the bridge. Okay, we're going to just chug away on the low strings. And then make sure that you use your left hand fingers to stop the vibrations. So that note is over. It comes to an end. It doesn't keep ringing. Okay, and then on the tabs you can see fret 4, and it has those little brackets. So you take your finger and you put it exactly right on top of fret 4, but don't press down. Just touch the string as light as a butterfly landing on the strings. So just touch the strings ever so lightly, and then when you play it, you get this high note. Those are called harmonics. Okay, you can do the same thing on the 3rd fret or even the 2nd fret. All right, let's walk through this riff. Now he's simply going to play a straight ahead bar chord. 3rd fret, press down 3 of the strings in a row, squish your finger flat, and as a bonus note, you can play the 5th fret here if you like. You don't have to play that note if you don't want to. Sounds just as good with one finger. Then simply repeat. Eventually, he leaves out the harmonics and just simply places all 4 fingers across the strings for a drum-like sound. And that concludes our walkthrough of Be Quiet and Drive by the Deftones. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.